Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, Jasmine Crockett is back in the headlines again, as she seems to be always these days. And the reason Jasmine Crockett is in the headlines all the time is because number one, she knows how to frame a message, and number two, she has the guts to say what everybody else is thinking. And she's being highly criticized by the Republican right and for these right wing Republican black men who are not calling themselves MAGA, but they really are. They're very critical of her. But the thing is, she's saying things that people want to be said. And after all, even if she's ghetto by their standard, Jasmine Crockett is highly educated, so she could come across as any intellectual that she wanted to. And then what would they be calling her? If she was coming across like a very sophisticated, intellectual black woman with a seat in Congress, what would they be calling her? You got it. They'd be calling her Boulay. But now she's outspoken. She's saying things that need to be said because somebody needs to let these Republicans who are running roughshod over this country know that everybody's not afraid of them. Because this country doesn't just belong to them. This country belongs to the rest of us too. And the rest of us need to have our say too. And Jasmine Crockett might seem over the top, but she's not nearly as over the top as they are. You've got a Secretary of Defense leaking very important information that could possibly put American troops' lives at risk. You've got him taking his wife, who doesn't have security clearance, to high level political meetings about military strategies with our allies. Just walking in the meeting with his wife, and nobody knows who she is, what she's doing there. So those things need to be looked at too. Then we've got a president who's making enemies going and coming with people that are our allies. The way Donald Trump is carrying on, the way he's talking to people and threatening people, we're going to be down to one ally, and that's Israel. And we're going to need more than one ally if the whole world is going to gang up against us. And if anybody thinks that America is going to beat China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran, throw India in for good measure, but couldn't beat Vietnam, Afghanistan, or Iraq with all of this military power, then you're living in fool's paradise. Because all of the world cannot gang up against you and then you think you're going to win. I listened to the incoming Prime Minister of Canada talking about the actions that they were going to take against the United States because of Donald Trump, and it was chilling. It was chilling. If he thinks that he's going to attack Canada, Greenland, Denmark, and all of those countries, that's alarming. Canada and Denmark belong to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, and Greenland is a territory of Denmark. So, what you would have would be one NATO country attacking other NATO countries. That would destabilize the whole thing. Donald Trump is treading in very dangerous territory, and of the people who should be responsible enough to know what to do, either agree with him and are egging him on, or they don't have the courage or the knowledge of what to do to stop him. And what strikes me as very odd is this supposed friendship between Donald Trump and the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. And unless he is really as smart as he thinks he is, that's going to end up being his undoing because Putin is not an ally or friend of the United States. And that's significant in what his objectives are, which is to keep NATO out of Eastern Europe. And Russia is Russia. Russia is a fighting machine. They fight in the rain, shine, sleet, or snow. So if anybody thinks that you're going to go in there and beat all of them together, that is really wishful thinking. So what Donald Trump and his allies are doing to America is way more serious than anything that Jasmine Crockett is saying or thinking about saying. Now that's what I had to say about that. Yet and still, Jasmine Crockett is a voice that needs to be heard at this hour. Again, if Jasmine Crockett, who has a law degree, she was a successful lawyer before she became a member of Congress, and she's a young woman. If she was walking around with her head in the air, talking about who knows what, these very same people, these black people right now I'm talking about, they would be calling her boule, bougie. They wouldn't like her any better than they do now when they're calling her all kinds of names and taking shots at her because even they, first of all, they can't even get in the position that she's in, and then even if they were there, they wouldn't have the courage to speak truth to power as she does. So if she comes across as sounding ghetto, I'm okay with that. I actually am. Presently, Jasmine Crockett is under fire for two things. They're trying to blame her for these white people going out and destroying Elon Musk's Cybertrucks and cars too, I guess, because she said something about they need to do damage, but she specifically said no violence. But because it's been so effective in these white people destroying the cars and the stock going down, that they're trying to blame that on her. But they can't because she can't tell those people what to do. Yes, most Democrats want Tesla stock to go down as low as it can go because they want him out of government. But they want to blame it on her. Even Pam Bondi, I think she's the attorney general, whatever it is she is, said something about she better tread carefully, like she was trying to threaten Jasmine Crockett. Well, that's something that Jasmine Crockett would laugh at. She didn't take her seriously at all. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do? And then now they're upset with her because she called the governor of Texas, who's in a wheelchair. I think it's due to a car accident he was in. Anyway, she called him Governor Hot Wheels. And oh, they're just all up in arms about that and want her to apologize, and she won't. She won't apologize because she said she wasn't making fun of him being in a wheelchair. She was making fun of him sending people out on buses and planes out of Texas. So she came back and clarified herself in her way, but they won't accept that. Now, they didn't have anything to say about Donald Trump making fun of a journalist with cerebral palsy. Everybody saw him do that in real time. There was no way he could explain it away because he was talking about the man and called him by name. So Jasmine Crockett said, I wasn't talking about his handicap. I was talking about him running people out of the state. But anyway, that's what they're having a problem with her now. And they want her to kowtow to them. They want her to come back and apologize. And what we have learned about apologizing to these people is that there is no amount of apology that's going to satisfy them. The best thing to do is not apologize. Say what you meant. I didn't mean it the way you took it. You took it that way. Too bad. Because if you start apologizing, we saw that with Nick Cannon and some of these other black people who made people mad. They start trying to apologize. Now you got to go on an apology tour. Now you got to go get some more training to know how to talk to them. So she says she's not going to do that. And so, I think that's that. That's the end of that. But anyway, the biggest problem that these people have with Jasmine Crockett is that she does know how to frame a message. And that's something that the Democrats don't know how to do. Now, whether that's guts, gangster, or ghetto is an individual call. But that's the way she is. She's one of the few Democrats who can get the media's attention and rile them. She uses their same tactics against them. But when a black person does it, then it's one thing. But when a white person does it, it's something else. It's guts when a white person does it, but it's gangster when a black person does it. So I am okay with Jasmine Crockett speaking her truth to power in the way that she chooses to do it. And until other people bring themselves under subjection, especially under the subjection of the laws of the United States of America, there doesn't need to be less Jasmine Crockett. There needs to be more Jasmine Crockett's. That's how I see it. Let me know what you think about the video. Thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up and have a good evening.